There was a time when I could walk for miles without even feeling it. The wind on my face. The ground steady beneath my feet. It felt like I could go on forever. But the years, they catch up to you. I remember the first time I felt that ache in my knees. Just a small twinge. Nothing serious. But then it came more often. And before I knew it, walking wasn't as easy as it used to be. I started avoiding stairs. Shortcuts became my best friend. It scared me. I realized that the simple act of walking, something I'd taken for granted all my life, was slipping away. And that's when I decided I wouldn't let that happen. Not without a fight. You see, the fear of losing my independence, of not being able to move around on my own terms, hit me hard. It was like staring at a future where I was trapped. Stuck in one place. Relying on others. And that, to me, felt like losing everything. I knew I had to do something. I had to keep my legs strong. My joints moving. I had to keep walking. Because walking is more than just getting from one place to another. It's freedom. It's life itself. So I went on a mission. I talked to doctors, physiotherapists, and even fellow old-timers who seemed to be moving around just fine. I wanted to know their secrets. And what I found changed everything for me. It wasn't magic. It wasn't complicated. It was about doing the right exercises. The kind that keep you moving. The kind that keep you walking. I made a promise to myself to do them. And I've never looked back. The first exercise is the simplest. Ankle circles. You might think, what good can moving your ankle in circles do? But let me tell you, those little joints are more important than you think. They're the base. They keep you balanced. Strong ankles mean fewer falls. I started doing this every morning. Sitting on the edge of my bed. Just lifting one foot off the ground and rotating my ankle. 10 times in one direction. Then 10 times the other way. And I did it with the other foot. It felt silly at first. But then I noticed something. I was steadier. More balanced. It felt like my feet were gripping the ground better. I stopped tripping over myself. I was walking more confidently. Then I learned about heel-to-toe walking. It's about practicing how you place your foot. Heel first. Then rolling through to the toe. It sounds easy. But when I first tried it, I realized how sloppy my walking had become. I wasn't using my feet properly. I was just shuffling around. But with this exercise, I regained control. I started walking with purpose again. Stronger steps. More stability. I made it a habit to do this every time I walked down the hallway. One step at a time. Heel to toe was slow at first. But it paid off. I felt grounded. Solid. Like my legs were supporting me the way they were supposed to. But to keep walking, you need strength. Especially in your thighs. That's where chair stands came in. It's as simple as sitting down and standing up. No hands. Just using your legs. I started with my favorite chair. The one that's just the right height. I'd sit down slowly. Then stand back up. 10 times. It was harder than I thought. My legs trembled. But I pushed through. Because I knew that strength was the key to staying on my feet. The more I did it, the easier it got. My thighs stopped shaking. I could feel the power returning to my legs. It felt good. Real good. Stretching was something I used to ignore. But tight muscles make stiff joints. And stiff joints make walking hard. So I started doing calf stretches. Standing in front of a wall. Hands against it. One leg back. The other bent. Pushing my heel into the ground. Feeling the stretch. It hurt a bit at first. But it was the kind of pain that tells you it's working. I'd hold it for 20 seconds. Then switch legs. I did this every evening. It became part of my routine. And the stiffness, it started to melt away. My steps became smoother. I wasn't dragging my feet anymore. I remember the first time I tried toe lifts. I felt ridiculous. Just standing there. Lifting my toes while keeping my heels on the ground. But the more I did it, the more I realized how important it was. It strengthened the muscles along my shins. Made it easier to pick up my feet when I walked. No more scuffing my shoes. No more stumbling over nothing. It was such a simple movement. But it changed the way I walked. It gave me control. Confidence. I won't lie to you. It wasn't easy. Some days I didn't feel like doing any of it. Some days the aches were worse than usual. But I kept thinking about the alternative. About losing my independence. About needing help just to get around. And I couldn't accept that. I wouldn't. So I pushed through. I did those ankle circles even when my feet felt stiff. I practiced heel-to-toe walking even when it was slow and frustrating. I did those chair stands even when my thighs burned. I stretched my calves. I lifted my toes. And little by little, I got stronger. I walked better. Now, I'm not saying this will make you young again. It won't. But it will keep you moving. It will keep you walking. And that, to me, is as good as gold. Because walking means living. It means being able to go where you want. Do what you want. It means freedom. And if you want to hold on to that freedom, if you want to keep walking forever, then you need to do the work. You need to keep those legs strong, those joints moving, those muscles flexible. I've seen too many friends give up. They stop moving. They stop trying. And before they know it, they're stuck. Their legs grow weak. Their balance wavers. They start needing canes, walkers, wheelchairs. And it breaks my heart. Because I know it doesn't have to be that way. Not if you keep at it. Not if you keep fighting. I'm no different from you. I get tired. I get sore. But I don't want to be trapped. I don't want to lose my freedom. So I keep going. Every morning. Every evening. I do these exercises. I take my walks. I keep moving. And because of that, I'm still walking. I'm still free. If you're feeling that fear, if you're worried about losing your ability to walk, don't wait. Don't let that fear become your reality. Start now. Start today. Even if it's just with ankle circles. Even if it's just a few toe lifts. Just start. It doesn't matter how slow you go. What matters is that you keep going. I'm telling you this because I've been there. I've felt that fear. I've faced that weakness. And I've fought through it. I want you to know that you can too. You can keep walking. You can keep moving. You can hold on to your freedom. But you have to choose it. You have to fight for it. You have to do the work. I'm still walking today because I made that choice. And I believe you can too. It's not too late. It's never too late. Just take that first step. And then another. And another. Keep going. Keep walking. And you'll see. You'll feel it. That strength. That freedom. That life. It's still there. Waiting for you. All you have to do is reach for it. And never let go. Are there any modifications for these exercises for those with existing joint pain or physical limitations? I know what it feels like when your body doesn't move the way it used to. When every step is a reminder that you're not as young as you once were. I've been there. Those stiff knees. That aching back. The sharp pain that shoots up when you least expect it. It makes you want to sit down and stay there. It makes you wonder if moving is even worth it anymore. But let me tell you something. Staying still is the worst thing you can do. The moment you stop moving is the moment your body starts giving up. And I'm not ready to give up. Not yet. Not ever. I've learned a few things over the years. And one of the most important lessons is that you don't have to move like you did when you were young. You just have to keep moving. Even if it's slower. Even if it's modified. That's the key. Modifying the exercises so they work with your body. Not against it. Because the goal isn't to be fast or strong like before. The goal is to keep walking. To keep living. To keep your freedom. Ankle circles are a great place to start. They're simple. But even they can be tough if your joints are stiff. I used to struggle with them myself. My ankles felt like they were rusted shut. But I found a way to make it easier. Instead of lifting my foot off the ground, I kept my heel down and just moved my toes in circles. Small ones at first. Slow and steady. It didn't look like much. But it was enough to get things moving. To wake up those joints. I did that every day. And gradually, the circles got bigger. My ankles felt looser, more flexible. And you know what? I stopped stumbling so much. My balance got better. It's a small thing, but it makes a world of difference. Heel-to-toe walking was another challenge. It sounds easy enough, but when your knees ache with every step, it's hard to put your heel down first. It's tempting to just shuffle along, but shuffling isn't walking. And I wasn't about to let myself fall into that trap. So I found a way to practice it without so much pain. I did it while holding onto the wall, just lightly, for support. It took the pressure off my knees, made it easier to roll from heel to toe, and little by little, I started feeling more steady, more balanced. I started trusting my legs again. Chair stands were the hardest for me. Getting up without using my hands felt impossible. My thighs just didn't have the strength. And my knees complained every time I tried. But I knew that if I didn't strengthen those muscles, I'd end up struggling to get out of chairs, out of bed, even off the toilet. I wasn't about to let that happen. So I made a change. I started using a cushion, just a small one, to make the chair a bit higher. It reduced the pressure on my knees, made it easier to stand up. I also did fewer repetitions at first, just 5. Nice and slow. It was tough, but I kept at it, every day, and my legs started getting stronger. I stopped needing the cushion. I could stand up on my own. It was a victory, a small one, but it meant the world to me. Stretching is important, but when your calves are tight, it can feel like torture. I remember pushing against the wall, trying to stretch my calf, and the pain shot up like fire. I almost gave up on it, but then I tried something different. I did it sitting down, using a towel. I wrapped the towel around my foot and gently pulled it towards me. It was a softer stretch, less intense, but it worked. It loosened those muscles, gave me back my flexibility, and walking became easier, less stiff, less painful. Toe lifts seem simple, just raising your toes while keeping your heels on the ground. But when your feet are sore, when arthritis bites at your joints, even that can be a struggle. I remember wincing through the pain, wanting to stop, but I knew that if I didn't strengthen those muscles, I'd keep tripping over my own feet. So I made it easier. I did it sitting down, just lifting my toes off the floor. It was gentler, but it was enough. Enough to engage the muscles. Enough to keep me moving. I'm not going to lie to you. Modifying these exercises doesn't make them painless. It doesn't make them easy, but it makes them doable. It makes them possible. And that's the point. It's about doing what you can. About finding a way to keep moving, even when it hurts, even when it's hard. Because the alternative is worse. The alternative is losing your independence, losing your freedom. And I won't accept that. I won't let that happen. There are days when I don't feel like doing any of it. Days when the pain is too much. When I just want to sit down and stay there. But I remember the fear. The fear of losing my ability to walk. Of being stuck in one place. Dependent on others. And that fear pushes me forward. It makes me do those ankle circles. Those heel-to-toe walks. Those chair stands. Even when they hurt. Even when it's hard. I've seen what happens when people stop moving. They get weaker. Stiffer. They lose their balance. They fall. And they never get back up. I refuse to let that be my story. I refuse to let that be your story. If you're feeling the pain, if you're struggling to move, don't give up. Don't stop trying. Modify the exercises. Make them work for you. Do them sitting down. Do them holding onto something. Do fewer repetitions. Do them slowly. Just don't stop. Don't give in to the pain. I'm not special. I'm just stubborn. I refuse to let pain dictate my life. I refuse to let it take away my freedom. So I fight back. I do the exercises. I keep moving. And because of that, I'm still walking. I'm still living. And if I can do it, so can you. It won't be easy. It won't be quick. But it will be worth it. One step at a time. One day at a time. You can keep walking. You can keep moving. You can hold on to your freedom. But you have to fight for it. You have to keep going. No matter how hard it gets. No matter how much it hurts. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Because I did. And I'm still here. Still walking. Still free. And that freedom. That independence. It's worth every ounce of effort. Every drop of sweat. Every bit of pain. It's worth it. It always will be. How can one stay motivated to maintain a consistent exercise routine for lifelong mobility? Staying motivated to keep moving. To keep exercising. It's not easy. I know that all too well. When you're young, you move without thinking. Running. Jumping. Climbing stairs. It's effortless. But as the years pass, it gets harder. Your joints ache. Your muscles feel stiff. You get tired more easily. And sometimes, it feels like no matter how much you move, it just hurts. So why bother? Why push through the pain? Why not just sit down and rest? I've asked myself those questions more times than I can count. But then I remember why I started. And that keeps me going. You see, it's not about looking good or staying in shape. Not at my age. It's about freedom. It's about independence. It's about being able to get up out of my chair, to walk to the kitchen, to climb the stairs to my bedroom, to step outside and feel the sun on my face, to live my life without depending on anyone else. That's why I keep moving. That's what keeps me motivated. Because I've seen what happens when people stop. I've watched friends give up on moving. Watched them get weaker. Watched them lose their balance. Watched them fall and never get back up. I won't let that happen to me. Not if I can help it. But wanting to stay independent and actually staying motivated, those are two different things. There are days when I don't want to do it. When I wake up and everything hurts. When my knees creak and my back aches. When I feel tired before I even get out of bed. On those days, the last thing I want to do is exercise. But I do it anyway. And the reason is simple. I remember how far I've come. I remember the days when I couldn't walk without pain. When getting up from a chair felt like climbing a mountain. I remember how helpless I felt. And I never want to feel that way again. So I get up. I stretch. I move. Even when it hurts. Even when it's hard. I've learned a few tricks over the years. Little things that help me stay motivated. One of them is routine. I do my exercises at the same time every day. Morning is best for me. Right after I get out of bed. Before I have a chance to talk myself out of it. It's become a habit. Like brushing my teeth or drinking my morning coffee. It's just something I do. No questions. No excuses. And because it's a habit, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to find the motivation. I just do it. I also set small goals. Not big ones. Not unrealistic ones. Just little things that keep me moving forward. Like doing one more repetition than I did yesterday. Or holding a stretch for 5 more seconds. It doesn't sound like much. But it adds up. It shows me that I'm getting stronger. That I'm making progress. And that keeps me going. Because nothing kills motivation faster than feeling like you're getting nowhere. But when you can see even a little progress, it gives you hope. It gives you a reason to keep pushing. There's another trick that works wonders. I reward myself. Not with food or anything like that. But with little pleasures that make me happy. After I finish my exercises, I let myself sit down with a good book. Or watch my favorite show. Or call up an old friend for a chat. It gives me something to look forward to. Something that makes the effort feel worth it. It might sound silly. But it works. It makes the hard part feel a little easier. But the most powerful motivator of all is gratitude. Every time I finish my exercises, I take a moment to be grateful. Grateful that I can still move. That I can still walk. That I can still get up and go wherever I want. I've known too many people who lost that ability. People who can't get out of bed, who can't go to the bathroom without help, who are trapped in their own bodies. I'm not one of them. Not yet. And I'm doing everything I can to keep it that way. That gratitude, that awareness of how lucky I am, it keeps me moving. It keeps me fighting. I won't lie to you. It's not always easy. There are days when I'm angry at my body. Angry that it's not as strong as it used to be. Angry that it hurts just to move. But I remind myself that giving up isn't an option. That if I stop moving, I'll lose everything I've worked for. I'll lose my strength, my balance, my independence. And that fear is stronger than any pain, stronger than any excuse. It keeps me going, even on the hardest days. I also think about the people I love, my family, my friends. I want to be there for them. I want to be able to play with my grandchildren, to dance at their weddings, to sit at the dinner table and share stories. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want them to worry about me. I don't want them to take care of me. I want to be strong, independent, alive. And that's worth fighting for. That's worth every drop of sweat, every ache, every pain. I'm not special. I'm just stubborn. I refuse to give up. I refuse to let my body dictate my life. I refuse to let pain or age or fatigue win. I keep moving. I keep fighting. And because of that, I'm still here. Still walking. Still living. And if I can do it, so can you. You just have to find your reason. Your purpose. Your why. Maybe it's your freedom. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's the simple joy of being able to move. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Let it push you forward. Let it keep you moving. Because the truth is, the moment you stop moving is the moment you start giving up. And I'm not ready to give up. Not now. Not ever. I'm going to keep walking. Keep moving. Keep living. And I hope you will too. One step at a time. One day at a time. We can keep going. We can keep fighting. We can keep our freedom. And that's worth every bit of effort. Every moment of pain. It's worth it. It always will be. What role does mental health play in maintaining physical mobility, and how do these exercises contribute to overall well-being? Mental health and physical mobility. They're more connected than most people realize. When I was younger, I never gave it much thought. I moved because I could. I ran. I jumped. I walked for miles without a second thought. But as the years went by, I started to feel the weight of life pressing down on me. Stress, worries, sadness, they all piled up. And I noticed something. When my mind felt heavy, my body did too. It was harder to get out of bed, harder to find the energy to move. Even the simplest tasks felt exhausting. It was then that I began to understand how deeply the mind and body are connected. You see, when your mind is burdened, it affects your entire being. You feel tired, not just in your head but in your bones. Your muscles ache. Your joints feel stiff. It's like walking through mud. Every step feels harder. Every movement feels slower. And if you're not careful, it can become a cycle. You feel down, so you don't move. And because you don't move, you feel even worse. It's a trap, one that's hard to escape once you're caught in it. But I learned something powerful. Moving the body helps heal the mind. And healing the mind helps keep the body moving. It's a cycle, but it can be a positive one, if you let it. I remember a time when I was struggling, really struggling. I felt lost, stuck. It was hard to find joy in anything. I didn't want to go outside, didn't want to see anyone, didn't want to move. I just wanted to sit in my chair and disappear. But then one day, I forced myself to take a walk, just a short one, down the street and back. And something happened. As I moved, I felt a little lighter. The weight in my chest eased up just a bit. My thoughts didn't feel as heavy. I didn't feel as trapped. I kept walking, day after day, a little farther each time. And slowly, I started to feel like myself again. That's when I realized the power of movement. It wasn't just about keeping my body strong. It was about keeping my mind strong too. When you move, your body releases chemicals. They call them endorphins. Little bursts of joy that flow through your bloodstream. They lift your mood, ease your pain, make you feel alive. It's like nature's medicine. And the best part? It's free. You don't need a prescription. You just need to get up and move. I also learned that movement clears the mind. When you're walking or stretching or even just breathing deeply, it's like hitting a reset button. The noise quiets down. The worries don't seem as big. You start to see things more clearly. Problems that felt overwhelming don't seem as impossible. You find solutions. You find hope. You find strength. And that strength keeps you moving. It keeps you fighting. It keeps you alive. But it's not just about the chemicals or the clarity. It's about control. When life feels chaotic, when everything is out of your hands, moving your body is something you can control. It's something you can do for yourself. Something no one can take away from you. It gives you power. It gives you purpose. It gives you a reason to keep going. That's why these exercises matter. Not just for your body, but for your mind. When you stretch, you release tension. Not just in your muscles, but in your thoughts. When you strengthen your legs, you build confidence. You feel grounded. You feel stable. When you balance, you learn to trust yourself, to believe that you won't fall, that you can handle whatever comes your way. It's not just physical. It's emotional. It's mental. It's spiritual. I've seen it with my own eyes. People who felt broken, who felt hopeless, who felt trapped in their own minds. They started moving, little by little, step by step, and they found themselves again. They found joy. They found purpose. They found freedom. That's the magic of movement. It heals. It strengthens. It saves. But it's not easy. I won't lie to you. There are days when it feels impossible. Days when your body hurts. When your mind is heavy. When getting up feels like climbing a mountain. I've been there. I know how hard it is. But those are the days when it matters the most. Those are the days when you have to fight. When you have to push through the pain. Through the doubt. Through the fear. Because on the other side of that struggle, there's freedom. There's peace. There's life. I won't tell you that exercise will solve all your problems. It won't. Life is hard. Pain is real. But movement helps. It gives you strength. It gives you courage. It gives you hope. And sometimes, hope is enough. Sometimes, hope is everything. I've lived a long life. I've seen joy and pain. I've known love and loss. I've walked through darkness. And I've found my way back to the light. And through it all, I've kept moving. Even when it hurt. Even when I didn't want to. Even when I was afraid. Because I knew that if I stopped moving, I'd stop living. And I'm not ready to stop living. Not yet. How can these exercises be incorporated into daily life without feeling burdensome or overwhelming? I know what you're thinking. Exercise can feel like a chore. Like another task on a never-ending list of things you have to do. I used to feel that way too. When I was younger, I thought of exercise as something separate. Something I had to carve out time for. Something difficult and tiring. But as I grew older and life became more complicated, I realized that if I was going to stay strong, if I was going to keep moving and living fully, I had to find a way to make exercise a part of my life without it feeling like a burden. And so I did. The secret is simple. You don't have to go to a gym or follow a strict routine. You just have to move. And you have to do it in a way that feels natural, enjoyable, effortless even. It's about weaving movement into the fabric of your day, little by little, step by step, until it becomes a part of who you are, a part of how you live. That's how you make it last. That's how you stay strong. That's how you keep walking forever. I remember watching my grandmother when I was a child. She was always moving. Not in the way you might think. She never went for a jog or did sit-ups. But she was always active. Always bending. Reaching. Stretching. She made everything she did a little exercise. When she cooked, she danced around the kitchen. When she cleaned, she made it a workout. When she played with us kids, she ran. She laughed. She moved. And she did it all without ever thinking about it as exercise. It was just life. Just living. Just moving. And she stayed strong well into her 90s. That's the key. You don't need to find time to exercise. You just need to move more in the time you already have. When you wake up in the morning, stretch before you get out of bed. Reach your arms above your head. Point your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Feel your body waking up. Feel your muscles warming up. It only takes a few moments, but it makes a world of difference. You start your day feeling energized, alive, ready to move. When you brush your teeth, stand on one leg. It sounds silly, I know, but it's a powerful exercise for balance. It strengthens your legs. It challenges your core. And it keeps you steady on your feet. You don't even have to think about it. You're just brushing your teeth. But you're also building strength. Building stability. Building confidence. It's so simple, but it works. Throughout the day, find moments to stretch. When you're waiting for the kettle to boil. When you're standing in line. When you're on the phone. Just a little stretch. Reach for the sky. Twist your body. Roll your shoulders. Stretch your neck. It keeps you limber. It keeps you loose. It keeps you feeling good. And it doesn't take any extra time. It's just movement. Just living. Just feeling alive. One of my favorite ways to move is to take the long way. When I go to the store, I park at the far end of the lot. When I go upstairs, I take each step slowly and deliberately. When I'm at home, I take little walks. Around the house. Around the yard. It doesn't have to be long. Just a few extra steps here and there. It adds up. It keeps you moving. It keeps you walking. It keeps you living. I also find little ways to add strength training to my day. When I'm carrying groceries, I hold the bags a little longer. I do a little curl before I set them down. When I'm getting up from a chair, I do it slowly, using my legs, using my core, building strength, building power. When I'm sitting, I tighten my muscles, my legs, my arms, my belly, just for a few seconds, just enough to feel the burn, just enough to stay strong. It's easy, it's quick, and it works. One of the most powerful tools I've found is simply to breathe. Deeply, fully, mindfully. When you take a deep breath, you engage your core. You expand your lungs. You stretch your back. You calm your mind. It centers you, grounds you, connects you to your body, to your life, to the present moment. It's movement. It's exercise. It's healing. And you can do it anywhere. Anytime. It's always with you. Always available. Always powerful. The key is to make movement joyful, playful, fun. Dance when you're cleaning. Wiggle when you're cooking. Laugh when you're stretching. Enjoy the way your body moves. Enjoy the feeling of being alive, of being strong, of being capable. Don't make it a chore. Don't make it a burden. Make it a celebration, a gift, a privilege, because it is. I've learned that it's not about how hard you push. It's about how often you move. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's not about getting it right. It's about doing it every day, in little ways, in ways that feel good, in ways that feel natural, in ways that make you smile. That's how you make it last. That's how you keep walking forever. I've lived a long life. I've seen people struggle, seen people give up, seen people stop moving, and I've seen what happens when they do. They get stiff. They get weak. They get tired. They stop living long before they stop breathing. But I've also seen the other side. I've seen people who keep moving, who keep laughing, who keep living. And they don't just survive. They thrive. They dance. They play. They walk. They live. Fully. Joyfully. Beautifully. That's what I want for you. I want you to live. To move. To dance. To play. To walk. To keep walking. To keep living. One step at a time. One day at a time. One moment at a time. You can do it. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you know. Just keep moving. Keep trying. Keep living. And before you know it, you'll be walking forever. Just like my grandmother did. Just like I am. Just like you will. If you just keep moving. If you just keep living. If you just keep going. You can do it. I believe in you. And I'm walking right there beside you. Every step of the way. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.